Today on True North, we will meet a founder who is not just bootstrapped, but bootstrapped in the fintech space. To find out how he does it, join me in a candid conversation with Nithin Kamath of Zerodha. Hi Nithin, welcome to True North. So Zerodha is bootstrapped and fintech. How did that happen?
So I've been a trader throughout my life, and back in 2008, 2009, so I had already traded for like 10 years of my life, and I was kind of looking at being a better broker than what I was getting as a trader, investor. So that's when I decided to start Zerodha. Now, I did go and talk to VCs back in 2009, 2010, and probably not the best time to be actually talking to VCs. One, because broking as an industry was coming from the worst times ever after the 2008 crash, and also 2010 in India, VCs, etc., was not really a hot scene. So that's how I was forced to kind of bootstrap it, to be very honest. So when the business started rolling, and we were cash flow positive, we never really required to raise any money after that.
And what does Zerodha mean?
So when we were starting the business, we didn't want to really come across as someone who can help you make money or make you wealth or security, etc., which is typical broking names, right? So we were trying to kind of be unique in the way the name sounds, and also kind of address to what we were trying to actually do as a business, which was to kind of reduce all the barriers for traders. So Zerodha is actually zero and Rodha. Rodha is barriers in Sanskrit. So it's like zero barriers, So
what are the new challenges that have come up now?
the big challenge for the business that we are in is that we are probably the most regulated industry in the country. So as a broker, I'm regulated by the exchanges first, and then SEBI, then RBI, then almost every state government in the country. So I think when there's so much regulation, it kind of tends to stifle innovation. So there are a lot of things that we want to do, but we are forced not to do because of this. So one is that, which is a challenge, and second thing I think is generally with growth is a people problem, right? As in the first 150, 100, 150 people who joined us never quit us, right? But now that we are close to 650, 700 members, the last 100, 150 people who are joining us, there's so much more churn because so it's very tough to kind of like what I could personally kind of pass on the message of what we're trying to build as a business probably is not happening today with a much bigger team, which is I think which is like a challenge for us, and third, which is like a much bigger challenge for us as a business, is that we are already becoming like a big fish in a small pond, So the active investor base in India is extremely shallow. So for us to grow as a business, now we have to not just move clients from other brokers and etc. We have to actually go out and create a market. So which is a different kind of a problem. Until now we've been very successful in kind of moving clients from other brokers to us, right? Now we have to actually create new clients, which is a challenge, and we are trying to do whatever possible to kind of get through that,
So we found this in your office. Can you tell us what this is about?
Okay, so this is Rupee Tales. It's a bunch of 5 books, 5 stories actually, So for to teach kids importance about saving and what is investing and what is insurance and etc. Because I think the big challenge in India has been that no one's taught finance right through school, college, right? So when people get their first job, they're kind of clueless, on how to manage their finance. So what they do is they typically end up doing what their parents are doing, which is to keep money in fixed deposit, gold, or real estate, right? So which is probably not the optimal way to manage your finances today. So we thought we should probably give an attempt at kind of just at least saying that kids have to be taught from young on what is this. So it's 5 stories, 5 illustrations, 5 stories with illustrations, explaining really basic stuff about of investing and saving and insurance and etc. So on a larger scale, we actually also run something called Varsity, which is like an open education initiative. I think today, Zerodha gets listed in the top 20, 30 websites in the world in terms of activity in terms of around investing and finance, right? That's all because of all the content we keep putting out there, to kind of create the awareness about markets, So yeah, so this is an extension to that, So,
What is your true north, Nithin?
Right. I mean, so it's tough one. As in, there are actually like 2 things, One is over the last 6-7 years, to where I was in 2000 to now, 10 to now, I've created a lot of value for myself, right? So, like, I don't really have to come to a job from tomorrow, right? To kind of, put food on the table. So, so now I want to be able to go and find a way to do this, create the same value for everyone who helped build the business for us, So, like I was saying, the first 100, 150 people didn't leave us, right? So, I mean, they have to be rewarded, for helping grow the business, So yeah, so that means that, I have to find a way to maybe list our business on the exchange, or, I don't know, right? Some liquidity event has to be created which can actually reward people who helped build the business. So one is that. And second thing, which is more holistic in a sense is, if India tomorrow has to become like like an economic power, so it can happen only if businesses in India, can kind of raise capital without a cost. That means, not really go raise debt, but actually get people invest into them, right? Which doesn't happen in India, right? Because in India, money chases fixed deposit, real estate, and gold, right? So a lot of money just gets invested here, and it never really comes and supports in entrepreneurs, right? Because if India has to become a US, what happened in the US in the 70s and 80s was people in the US started investing into their businesses, right? It created a lot of wealth for people as well, and it also helped create businesses, which in turn helped the economy grow. And so we need to kind of create, I think, as a country, an environment which is conducive for this. The government is doing it, right? Our Prime Minister has gone out and said that, something like this has to happen, right? It's very clear the fixed deposit rates won't really go up anymore, right? He wants people to be investing into businesses, right? So yeah, so I think as a stock broking firm, I think if tomorrow we could make some difference to all of this, and maybe get the next, say, 5 or 10 million Indians to come invest behind businesses, and hopefully in the same, in the process also help the country grow, I think that would be like a true north for us, so as a business,
Nithin, how do you unwind?
Yeah, I love music. I love sports. I play a lot of basketball and football. I have a 2-year-old son now, so yeah, that's enough unwinding for me, So,
And who's your favorite musician?
As a band, it's Pink Floyd, So
And who's your favorite movie character?
Movie character is actually Tim Robbins, from Shawshank Redemption.
Andy Dufresne.
Yeah, Andrew Dufresne.
What's your biggest fear?
I actually fear that tomorrow morning I wake up and rupee doesn't have any value to it, like something like what happened in Zimbabwe and etc. Right? Like you need like $1 million to buy a pound of bread or something like that. So I fear that quite a bit.
And what's your biggest regret?
I don't know if it's regret, but I potentially could have started Zerodha earlier, because I had this idea for a long time, and so 2004 to 2007 was like the biggest bull market India has ever seen till date, So maybe if we were there as Zerodha at that time, we could have done a lot more, So
Who is your role model, Nithin?
I think of actually meeting people in person. I think I kind of adore Azim Premji, for I think more for the way he is, even after generating so much wealth, and so yeah, so I think Azim Premji would be my role model, So
Thank you for joining us on True North, Nithin. This was a great conversation, and we wish you and Zerodha all the best.
Thanks for having me here.